jam and a dunk. Wow, fouled. He's got 41, and the Lakers are going to beat the Suns wire to wire. What a game for Anthony Davis.
The Brow going beast mode against the Suns. Is this the version of AD that Los Angeles has been waiting to see? The Celtics, well, they've lost 3 out of 4. Are they heading into the danger zone? And Luka gets ejected for a low blow. Is he turning heel? I don't know, but that Photoshop is amazing. It's a family affair here on The Jump, so guard your cookies, baby. It all starts now. Do I sound excited? I'm very excited. Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols alongside NBA champ Kendrick Perkins, the host of the Hoop Collective, Brian Windhorst. But we also have all-star, man about town, bon vivant, coach of coaches now that he's retired, and of course, Mr. Ball Don't Lie, one of my favorite humans ever in the game of basketball, Mr. Rasheed Wallace. Thank you so much, friend.
Hey.
Love that you are here. This is going to be so much fun. We've got Katie's business partner, Rich Kleiman, stopping by in a minute. But first, the wild, wild west. Depending on how old you are, that phrase can mean a lot of different things. Maybe it makes you think of Annie Oakley and Billy the Kid. Maybe it makes you think of those old black and white movies your dad or grandpa liked. Maybe it makes you think of the British band, The Escape Club. I mean, hey, that song hit #1, just saying. Anyway, these days, Wild Wild West is the only fair way to describe the NBA's Western Conference, where up is down, down is up, three-pointers are as plentiful as tumbleweeds, and gunslingers are waiting around every corner. There's Luka Doncic, who over the weekend did his best impression of a cowboy being thrown out of a saloon for unsavory behavior. And by unsavory, I mean this, Luka's fist in the groin of the Cavaliers' Colin Sexton. Officials ruled it a flagrant 2, which meant Luka was tossed from the game, but he did not draw a technical. That's relevant, since if Luka gets one more tech, it would be his 16th of the season, which triggers an automatic 1-game suspension. Accordingly, Luka has vowed to cool his quick draw temper, but we will have to see if he can pull that off. Meanwhile, over in the home of the Gold Rush, Steph Curry was also in action this weekend, and also just ridiculous. Curry dropped 49 points in 29 minutes and with his range fully on display. Nothing but net all night long. You know, for much of the season, the Warriors were trying to split the difference between competing for the playoffs and developing younger players like rookie James Wiseman. Then Wiseman got hurt, which stinks, but at least forced the team to pick a direction, and that direction clearly involves letting Steph ride free across the open range and right into the postseason bracket. In fact, with Saturday's win, it propelled the Warriors to 8th place in the standings, which means if the season ended today, Steph and the Warriors would face LeBron, AD, and the 7th place Lakers in the play-in tournament's opening game. Here's Steph when he was asked about it.
I think the league might enjoy Lakers Warriors 7-8 in the play-in. That's so mean.
Amazing. Of course, the Lakers themselves less thrilled with this idea, although if they can get the version of Anthony Davis we saw against Phoenix last night, none of it might matter. Playing once again without LeBron or starting point guard Dennis Schroeder, AD was dominant from the start. Look at this dunk in the first quarter. His eyes as he approaches the hoop. Yeah, fantastic. He would finish with 42 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals, topping the whole thing off with this alley-oop. A little extra flair there for the folks in the back. Afterward, we heard his take on the play-in. Take a listen.
We're going to come out and fight, and I think teams know that. They know that just because we're a lower seed, we're not going to back down from anybody. We're going to come out and play Lakers basketball, and I think teams know that and fear that as well.
I believe in the Old West, they would say them's fighting words. And certainly if you were the Suns last night, it can't have felt great to lose to a team that if things go chalk would be your first round playoff opponent. Then again, the Suns will have the chance to influence their own fate this week when they play Portland, also one of the teams battling with LA in the standings. Although if I'm Phoenix, do I necessarily want to set up a first round duel with Dame Lillard? Talk about one of the fastest guns in the West. Either way, it's all set to come to a head by the end of this week. So choose your weapons and prepare to meet at dawn. It's getting pretty wild right out here. So, Perk, is this the version of AD that you expect to see for the rest of the week, rest of the season? Rest of the week, it's the same thing.
Absolutely. And look, I said this before, Rachel, nothing gets you in shape like playing basketball games. And AD is finally getting his legs up under him. Look, when Anthony Davis is healthy, 100% healthy, he's the best big in the game today. And there's no debate in my opinion. What we are witnessing right now, we're witnessing him not only dominate on the offensive end, because in my opinion, he has zero flaws on the offensive end, but his defense has been stellar. Like, it's been so phenomenal the way that he's impacted on the defensive side of things. And when you look at Anthony Davis, he's a generational talent. He's one of one. Shaq-type numbers last year in the bubble when he was playing his best. And right now, he's about to hit his stride. It's probably about to be trouble for the rest of the Western Conference if Anthony Davis could keep this up, which I think he can.
What do you got for us, Sheed?
Well, for me, definitely I like AD. I like what he's doing, and definitely he's healthy now.
Yeah.
He's healthy. So that's why we saw the performance that we did last night. But, and Perk, you know this as well as I do, in order for the Lakers to go ahead and go all the way where they want to go, they're going to need LBJ back. LBJ is definitely the glue for that team. And I'm not disrespecting AD. I think he's a great player. He definitely deserves all the accolades he has and he's gotten. But they definitely going to need LBJ. If they want to go ahead and go back-to-back, they're going to need LBJ. We all know that.
Yeah. And look, Chief, all I'm saying is this. 100% Anthony Davis and even a 75% LeBron James, the Lakers' run is deeper than the Mississippi River, okay? They can have a run that deep in the playoffs with a 75% LeBron James. And the way that Anthony Davis is playing right now, I'm saying that if he keeps this up, which I think he can, the first round of the playoffs for the Lakers could be that round where LeBron could get his rhythm going into the second round. That's all I'm saying. He could get up to 100%.
Well, I don't know, though, Perk, because look at all the minutes that LBJ play. He plays a lot of minutes, bro. And coming back from injury, you know they're supposed to keep him on mandated minutes. But, you know, that's LBJ. He's going to be like, look, I want to play. What they going to do, say no? So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I can't necessarily guarantee them. They'll go as far as LeBron is healthy. I'll say that.
Well, Brian, what have we heard about when LeBron might end up back this week? And just from your years watching him, what do you think his pace is going to be returning from this injury? Because he tried to return last week, didn't quite work, felt more pain than he felt even in his ramp up. Brian, what can we expect?
Well, let me just take a moment to acknowledge that Rasheed Wallace has on his wall a referee giving him a technical, which I think is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in a player's house. So I'd like to take my hat off to you for that. When LeBron came back last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, he was running okay and he was going back and forth okay, but when he went to push off that right leg, he had no spring, no energy. And so much of his offense is created by leveraging his size on his defender. He gets you on his hip, puts you in position, and the next thing you know, you got an and one. And he's going to end up having to shoot a lot. So what that's going to mean is that the Lakers are going to have to really defend. And their defense this whole year has been awesome. They were number one when AD got hurt. They were number two in the 30 games that he was out. And then when LeBron was out with AD for a month, they were number four. But since AD has come back, they have slipped way back. Even last night, as good as that win was and as great as Anthony Davis was, they allowed 54% shooting. I don't know how healthy LeBron is going to be. I don't know whether they're going to hit their three-pointers, because when they do, they're a different team. Last night, they hit them. But I do know they can control their defense. And so they have got to defend at the bubble level.
A game-winning buzzer beater to sink the Bulls. Now, Perk, Brian Windhorst and I were sitting in the Chicago Bulls cafeteria area where they had LeBron set up for a press conference, and he announced to all of us, I scratched it when he was talking about Blatt's original play call. You were in the huddle. Could you take us inside?
I was, Rachel, averaging 2,500 claps a game, but I'm perfectly fine with that. But David Blatt was in the timeout. David Blatt was in the timeout, and he was drawing up a play, and his hands were shaking. He actually had LeBron James taking the ball out of the bounce, and the play was for J.R. Smith. LeBron James grabs the board and says, "Nah, we're going to run this. I'm going to flash corner. Give me the ball." He got the ball and hit the game winner.
David Blatt also owes Ty Lue flowers on this day for the rest of his life because he was about to call the timeout he didn't have, which would have given him a Chris Webber situation and lost them.
On my way to a triple-double.
Westbrook's got his triple-double. Triple-double, triple-double. Move over. Hang up.
What he's doing is just electrifying. He just attacks everybody.
There's no player like myself.
He's made the triple-double look so easy.
This shit ain't easy, though. I'll tell you that.
If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Welcome back, Perk, Sheed, Wendy, all still hanging with me. And now, gentlemen, it's time to play a few rounds of something, nothing, or everything. Starting with, yes, Russell Westbrook, tying Oscar Robertson's record for most triple-doubles in NBA history, 181. Russ still has 4 games to break the record this season. He's guaranteed to average a triple-double for the 4th time in his career, even if he doesn't score another point. So Rasheed Wallace, is Russ tying the Big O for most triple-doubles ever? Something, nothing, or everything?
I got to say it's something for sure, because I don't care what era you play. You know, Perk and I, we played in one of the toughest eras of basketball. In my opinion, It's not as tough now, but that kid is tough. You can say what you want about him. Hey, to average, look, first of all, I played 16 years. I played over 25 years of basketball. Never had one triple-double. This dude has over 100 and something triple-doubles over the last few years. That's phenomenal. That's I take it back. That's not something. That's everything. Yeah. That's phenomenal in my book, man. I don't care who you're playing against.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely something. You know, 5 years ago, this would have been a record that you would have thought would have been one of the more unbreakable records in the NBA. 181 in your career. I mean, Jason Kidd had put up nonstop and couldn't even come close to it. So for Russ to put his name on this line in the history books for a career is really, really impressive. He's done so many things over his career, and I think this is what he'll be remembered for. But obviously, he was an MVP before he was after triple-doubles. He's not just Mr. Triple-Double. He's Mr. Do a lot of things for his team.
You know what? This is everything and more to me. And I could go on, and Brian and y'all touched on it, right on the head, right on the money. But I'm going to say this. The way that he did it the other night and tied it, right? And got 181. You just look at it. The go-ahead free throws, no Bradley Beal in overtime, along with the go-ahead block. Like, he went out in great fashion against that Indiana Pacers team, who was also fighting. It was a playoff-type atmosphere, and Russell Westbrook took it over. So to take over the game, actually win the game for your team, and break history was everything to me.
Look, there's a reason we like the stat, right? There's a reason we like talking about triple doubles, because it hits several parts of the game, not just one aspect of the game. And I'm exhausted by people saying, oh, Russ is just chasing stats, because guess what? When Russ has a triple double, his teams win. You can look it up. A winning record, and not by a little bit, people. So it is a reflection of him doing things that affect winning, the same way it was with Oscar Robertson. And I do remember when Russ had the triple-double for a season, averaged a triple-double for the first time since the Big O a few seasons ago. We thought this record would be unbreakable. We talked about it like Cal Ripken, and sure enough, here he is. So shouts to him. All right, I want to move on to Luka Doncic, gentlemen, because he was ejected early in the third quarter of Sunday's win over the Cavs. We talked about it a bit at the show, top of the show. He was called for a flagrant tool. Our officials ruling Doncic made a, quote, aggressive strike to the groin area of Cavs guard Colin Sexton. Luka said afterward, quote, after I saw the video, I knew I hit him, but it wasn't anything on purpose. So, Perk, is this something, nothing, or everything? Because as we have been talking about, Luka is just one technical shy of a suspension, something that fortunately did not exist back when she was playing.
Yeah, look, it's everything to me. And here's why, right? A guy that led the league in technical fouls, a guy that lost over $200,000 because of technical fouls and ejections and things to that nature. My whole thing is with Luka is that he don't want his reputation to be that way. And this is going from a guy that had a pretty bad reputation with the officials. And once you get labeled as a guy that's going to come out whining, a guy that's going to play dirty, a guy that's going to complain, officials are not going to give you the respect you deserve, and they're going to ignore you. They're not going to, it's almost like you want to be on the good side of the officials. You don't want them coming in and saying, no, I ain't talking to you. I talk to this person, but not to you. And Luka has a long career ahead of him, and I just want him to succeed and for nothing to harm his legacy.
Hey, Perk, for me,
I'm not really.
That's an ass whooping. You did that deliberately. He didn't like the way that Colin Sexton was blocking him out. He felt as though that Colin maybe put a little bit of extra on it. No, it's a simple block out. You got to get low when you're blocking out the big man. And then for him to turn around and as you're looking at me, throw a shot to my Johnson. Oh, no, that's an ass whooping, dog. I mean, I kudos to Colin Sexton. You kept your cool and everything of that nature. Kudos. But, hey, no, that's an ass whooping. That's what that is.
This is why this is something. Because, look, did he deserve every technical that he got this year? Probably not. Did he mean to hit him between the legs? Maybe not. But the problem with Luka is that he loses his cool. He loses his cool. And that is something that you cannot do when you are the superstar player on a team. Because if you lose your cool at the wrong time in a playoff game, you can be gone. And if you're gone in a playoff game, you dramatically hurt your team more than if you get suspended for a regular season game. This is something he's got to work on. He's got to pick his spots, both with the officials and with sending messages to players on the court. Let the dudes like Perk go settle scores with other players. Perk was one of the best at that. Go let him get ejected and then take care of his fine later.
By the way, I love the graphic.
Real fast, can I say this?
Please.
Luka, you should cuss him out in Italian, not English.
Strategy there.
Hey, Rachel, you know what's crazy that he said that real quick? So she, myself, and KG and Doc all were on the same team, and we all were top 5 in the league in technical fouls. So we said that we were going to start cursing the referees out by using numbers. So we would call them a 285 or a 363.
That's incredible. I just have to throw that graphic up again of the text this season, because look at the bottom line there. Perk, you're talking about this coming from a guy who led the league in text. I led the league in text 2 years. Perk, you had 16 texts in the 2010 season. She'd had 40 in the 2001 season. Thank you very much. Sheed, what would you advise Luka, aside from cursing in Italian so people don't know, right, what he's saying, but Sheed, how would you advise Luka to get it a little bit more under control? Because as Brian points out, the playoffs are coming. They can't lose him for a game.
Well, you just got to keep playing. I did receive a lot of texts and stuff. A lot of mine were during the regular season, but once playoff time came, then I knew what was at stake there. I got to just go ahead and bite the bullet. And if the referee, they want to, be sarcastic or cuss me out, I got to let them, because I know if I said anything, then they would give me a tech. And now I'm gone for 2 games. We're in the playoffs, and that could change the whole thing. So Luka, just keep playing. You busting their ass. You killing them already, dog. So just keep playing, doing what you're doing. You ain't even got to say nothing to the refs. You going to the line. You getting buckets. Y'all winning. Hey, go ahead. You doing your thing, bro.
I love it. Sheed, thank you so much for hanging with us a bit today.
Yes.
This is my face when Rasheed Wallace is around.
Rachel, I'm just so glad I don't have to see the Kansas City Chiefs gear this year. Lord, I'm glad. Oh, thank you. I'm just so happy.
We can get into that next time. Again, the podcast, Let's Get Technical, should react like this.
I don't know what it says about me, but I thought this was a top 5 moment in the NBA this year.
This is charming,
and,
right?
I think Brook Lopez is a treasure.
Yes.
He is, and you know what? He kind of stole the moment from the dunk itself, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I like that, because it's like, oh, whoop-de-doo, so what? Oh, I'm scared. I love that out of him.
Well, KJ made the scowl at him, and he reacted appropriately. There you go. That was fantastic. Really, really beautiful. Miss Beef Stew, yes. Pistons rookie Isaiah Stewart's nickname is Beef Stew, and he makes a business decision here on the Zach LaVine Drive. Perk, Beef Stew has been dunked on 6 times in the last 2 months. So Brian would say don't be ashamed to play defense, but do you feel it was a good idea for him to finally get out of the way there?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and the Pistons are not playing for anything. He's already earned the coaches and organization respect. You have nothing else to prove by getting put on another post. Just get the hell out of the way like you did, young fella. I usually don't applaud that, but I applaud it this time.
You know how much I love the people who run this show. Danny Corrales, Steve Martinez, Michael Bodmer, Hillary Guy, Kathy Perez. Why do we shame defenders on this show? Why must we do it for years on end?
I just wanted to say Beef Stew multiple times, Brian. Make free throws, Mavs, Cavs. How many times can you say that fast? Boban gets it. He's open. He splashes. Brian, does it look like he's shooting a free throw here, though?
Well, let me ask you this. How do you challenge that shot? Are you yelling to your guy, hey, get out there and get a hand in his chest?
Elbow?
How do you? I think you just got to let him take it.
Right?
I think you got to let him take it and just hope for the best.
You know what? The great part about it is after he made it, he got back on defense like he knew he knew that he was supposed to make it. He didn't celebrate. He didn't do like all this extra stuff. He made it and backpedaled like, yeah, I knew it. Look. Yeah, I'm right back in the zone. I love it.
I just want another Boban and Luka dance. That's my hope for this last week of the regular season. Miss complacency. We love Boban. Knicks needing a bucket to put the game out of reach. Leighton Staples, and they go to who else? Julius Randle. Perk. Is he a runaway favorite for most improved player? Is there anyone even in the conversation besides him?
It is not, Rachel. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. I thought Jaylen Brown was right there up under him, but he's been missing so many games. But what Julius Randle has done, 24 points, 10 rebounds, almost 6 assists. The New York Knicks is, bringing life back to New York, and he should be in the MVP conversation, let alone winning most improved if you want to keep it 100.
Can't we just be
How many
happy
people
with this?
does Perk want in the MVP conversation? I've heard him put 14 people in the MVP conversation in the last week.
I want whoever is deserving to be in there. I just don't want people coming on here saying that Jokic is just the runaway favorite when they have other guys out here that are doing the same, but if not better.
Well, first of all, he can be the runaway favorite
Perk,
and have other
Jokic
people on
is
the ballot.
runaway favorite. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Isn't it enough that the Knicks are in the playoffs again? Julius Randle is tearing it up, most improved player. I'm gonna say that I don't even have to put him up against who or is or isn't. Anyway, look, let's talk about this bracket, because if the regular season ended Sunday, this is what the Eastern Conference playoffs would look like. The Knicks would face the Hawks in the first round. So, Perk, let's continue with Julius Randle. How much noise can the Knicks make with this situation?
Well, you know what? Look, the Knicks control their own destiny. And you know what? Yesterday I said this on Hoop Strings with Wendy, Rachel. I said that the Clippers were going to beat the Knicks tonight. I said that. And guess what? The Knicks proved me wrong. They are 3-2 on this current West Coast trip. They are competing at the highest level. They have identity on the defensive side of things and the offensive side of things. I believe that their ceiling is getting to the second round and challenging one of those three-headed monsters to a 6 or 7 game series. And I believe that they strongly can get out the first round.
I exhaustively researched this today, and so I can now make this statement.
Okay.
This was the biggest win for the Knicks in 8 years, since they eliminated the Celtics in the playoffs in 2013.
Explain yourself.
Not just because it's a road win that was vital for them. And frankly, they haven't played late season big games in a long time. And this was such an impressive victory, because I agree with Perk. I thought this was the Clippers game, especially since Kawhi and Paul George were in the lineup and playing. And so here's the thing. The Hawks have the easiest schedule left in the NBA. I know there's not many games left, but the Hawks have the easiest run. The Knicks are still out in the West for another couple of days, another couple of games. If the Knicks can somehow emerge from this with the number 4 seed, it means they would have played so well and they would have home court advantage, I would think that they would have a shot to win in advance out of that round. But I am more concerned that they slip back to 6 because that is also on the table for them as well. And then they'd have to play the Bucks. So a lot of it's going to come down to their seed. But I'm going to say this. I agree with Perk, but everybody beware. The last 11 times the Knicks have been listed as underdogs, they're 8-3. So be very careful when you see the Knicks listed as underdogs the rest of the way.
And a big part of that has been Derrick Rose. I just don't think we can have this conversation without bringing up D. Rose again. What he has done for that team since he went back there. And look, things did not end great for Derrick in New York. The last time, this wasn't necessarily a spot people thought that he would thrive in. And just like he has been doing over and over again, he has proven those doubters wrong. There are so many stats across the board that if you look at them pre-DR or post-DR, that the Knicks have they're a different team. They're a changed team. So I want to shout out him again as we go. All right, coming up, our friend David Griffin, Pelicans Executive Vice President, fined $50,000 for, Tony was in the bubble with us. He officiated his first NBA Finals last year. He officiated the All-Star Game this year. NBA Senior Vice President Monty McCutcheon, who oversees officiating, released the following statement, quote, Tony is a beloved member of the...
And every new Toyota comes with a 2-year no-cost maintenance plan included. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
On Thursday, we're going to premiere ESPN Films' latest documentary, 144, an unprecedented look at last year's WNBA season in the bubble at IMG Academy in Florida. Executive produced by our very own Shanae Ogumake. The film explores the season dedicated to social injustice, fighting for civil rights, and everything the players overcame to get through it. 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and the app, and available on ESPN Plus immediately following this premiere. And now joining the show, he is Kevin Durant's manager, business partner, the co-founder of 35 Ventures, the Sports Business Media Network, the Boardroom, Rich Kleiman. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Rachel. I am so happy to finally be on the jump. We talked about this forever.
We have had all of these misconnections. Here you are. You're reminding me of New York, the home base I had for so long behind you. I love your backdrop. And there's a very cool partnership you're here to announce. Why don't you get to it?
Yeah, we're announcing our investment and partnership with Just Women's Sports, and we are incredibly excited. This was a big investment for our team. We have a portfolio of about 70 companies, and some companies are just strategic investments. And some of them we try to activate around where it's appropriate. And some of them, like this, are not only, it's something passionate for us, but the founder is an incredible founder. The concept is great. The business model is great. And, beyond the fact that we want to invest in women's sports, this was a great investment. And the founder was somebody that we knew we had to kind of find a way to work together with.
Yeah, women's